let's come to our last part. So although I think here it's not only about being late, but it's also about being early, because we have one of our panelists dialing in from the west coast of the US, where it's early. So I'm happy to reflect now on what we've learned today and a little bit of what we can expect at SNEC, together with two representatives, one of LONGi and the other one of Jollywood. So I'm very happy to have with us Hongbin Fang, who is the Director of Product Marketing at LONGi Solar. Good morning, Hongbin. And I'm also very happy to have with us Michele Citro, who is Senior Manager, EU Product Management from JA Solar. Both of them have way over a decade, almost 2 decades of solar experience. And so we have a lot to share, I believe. What I want to do is I prepared a few questions. We have 30 minutes so that we can get as much output out as possible, so that we really do it a little bit as a fire chat, so that when I ask you the questions, that we keep the answers also somewhat short. So I think again, let's first maybe talk about, so what are the 3 key module trends you expect to see at SNEC? Since it's early for you, Hongbin, maybe you start.
Okay, thank you, Michael. Yeah, I think right now for the what do we see in the marketplace, and also probably upcoming SNEC, the few trends are still evolving in the industry. First, I think for the utility scale project, I think the large format modules become a standard, right? And so with the especially our Humble 5, 182 millimeter modules become a well accepted in the marketplace. And the other one we'll see probably right now, we have a lot of debates over the last few months, a year, on the module size. What we think, probably, the module side will settle where we are, and then, people will go back to focus on the efficiency, right? The cell efficiency and module efficiency improvement. And the third trend probably will see their product that will cover, a variety of application scenarios and utilities, CNI, RESI, and even, BIPVs.
Okay. Michele,
Hi,
what
Michael.
kind of trends do you see?
Yeah, I confirm what Hongbin said. So really, I see a focus on technology from, as we also have seen during this very interesting event range organized by you today. So let's say compared to last year, where there was, let's say, we were paving the way for this trend to larger modules. So now this way is clear. So for sure, every manufacturer will focus on their solution. So for us, it's the Deep Blue 3.0, then our Series 30. And then, let's say, the focus at the same time is also on the efficiency of the module. So we will also discover some more on a new solution of module, aiming to increase the efficiency. And then let's see also something more related to innovation for next years. We have also today heard a lot about N-type. And then this, I think now it's time to go more to this kind of product, at least at the exhibition, because then in 3 years, this will be starting to be the main trend.
So when we look at your company, and what would be your key message at SNEC to your customers directly and to the world? Because SNEC is the only big show that we will see this summer, and so all the trends that are on display there are what the trends that the world probably will absorb. Hongbin, maybe?
Yeah, first, I think as I just mentioned, this is, we should not focus on the size, the module size anymore. We should go back, we consider, I think, reliability is a key, to ensure customer value is protected and realized, right? And reliability with, risk with oversized modules are high, and increasing module size to achieve higher power and with the oversized modules are high, right? And so it is higher power. It's not innovation anymore. It is not responsible for our customers. Instead, probably we want to focus on the module efficiency and energy yield improvement. I think that's the key message we want to share with our customers, and hope our customers and all the players in the industry can agree.
Okay, Michele?
Yeah, for sure, I agree. But also, let's say I would add from JS Solar that for us, let's say the main message is to match customer expectations. So to really focus to optimization from the different segments. So for instance, we will also show our 54 cells module also on M10 technology. And then again, so there will be for each different segment, we have the right solution, because JA still have, let's say, in manufacturing 3 different series of products. For sure, we will also make, let's say, a recap about our big product offer. And then we are ready for each let's say, need from customer side to provide our best solution. So in general, let's say, yeah, matching customer needs, and then also with an eye to innovation, because then we'll also show something that at the moment is in the pilot lines, let's say, and then we'll represent the future, as I mentioned before.
Okay, so as I understand, so large modules are somewhat the new normal, maybe not totally, but at least people are believing that it's becoming the new normal. So when you look at everyone is expanding, you've been also both expanding very rapidly. So how is this expansion plans going, and especially also for the larger products? Is it going to plan? And can you just share actually what the plans are?
Yeah, I think at LONGi, I think the large size modules, 182 HAMO 5 was ramp up according to a plan, right? And by the end of last year, we had more than 13 gigawatts, and so we're on our way to get over to close like a 30 gigawatt capacity, right? So that is right now, I think it's well, the HAMO 5 182 modules is well accepted in the marketplace for the utility applications, right? And more customers are more comfortable as we make sure these modules are compatible with BOS components like trackers and electric components. So I think this is the acceptance in the marketplace has been very well, right? And we have pretty significant orders on hand.
Just okay. Michele?
Yeah, so let me start. So when you mention larger modules, I would say now is the reality. So as I mentioned, last year we were launching something new. Even let me remember at SNEC last year, we also show a module that was almost 800 watt. So jumbo module. So the main target at that time was really to show that power is important, but it's not only power. So we also all over this year, we were used to say that let's say it's not only the power that is the main focus. And then this year, so we will, this is now the reality again. Our solution with S30 is there, it's accepted from the market. So in terms of capacity, we are, let's say, we are following our plan to have more than 30 gigawatt production capacity above, let's say, all the supply chain, so wafer, cells, and module. So let's say we are fully on the right target on that, and then market is hot at the moment, and we are there to provide our solution to the market.
I think Hongbin already started answering that. That's why I was trying to interrupt a little bit. So, but let's and how's the market accepting it? So I think the market understood that there are new products, but of course they bring some challenges. Let's go into that details a little bit later. But are people understanding that also, that you need these larger power module sizes for all the different segments? So for utilities, C&I, and residential, course, people like higher power ratings. But do they understand that, or do they actually just look at power ratings and then they say, wow, I don't know, a year ago or 2 years ago, we were at 350, 370, and now we're actually even seeing offerings over 400 for the residential and for the other segments and respectively. So can we just talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so 182 millimeter, modules are designed, original design for the utility applications, right? So usually actually for more like a flat terrain, so they have you can put longer strings, and so this is become a well accepted in that segment, right? And now people are exploring the applications of these using the same, size wafer and to make smaller modules for, say, for residential applications. And that still has some, its own challenges in terms of compatibility with the downstream component, right? But I think as the industry move along, and then the component suppliers will catch up, that is probably that direction where people will explore, and if it is compatible, there can be a product that's suitable for that segment as well.
Okay. Michele?
Same from my side. So let's say now let's talk about JA module. So for this year, our S3072 cells that was greatly presented also today, but Andrew is exactly, let's say, answering these needs, and customer fully accepted it. Then for the future, as I was mentioned before, so bigger is not always better. So also for us, we will do further optimization. So we will show our 78 cell solution with a very, let's say, reduced gapping gap, let's say, between the cells, but this goes in one direction. But again, this will not replace, let's say, the 72 cells. So I don't want to go again open the topics that were discussed during the presentation before regarding BOS and all these topics. So we will have different solutions. For instance, with trackers, so will depend on the trackers. They can have 78, 72. But again, so it's a matter of optimization. It's not only the module, there are all the other components that, let's say, make up the system. And again, from JA Solar, we are here, we will be here to follow this expectation from customers. And again, it's not only a matter of power. So we really appreciate, let's say, this kind of event. Also, for sure, at the exhibition, we are talking now about SNEC, but I fully hope that in a few months, here in Munich, we will have the possibility to restart doing fairs and meeting customers to explain all of this. So I started now from utility, but then also about the residential. Again, we have 3 different options, let's say, for rooftop, our S10, S20, and now this S3054. Again, it's a matter of different things. It's the size of the module, it's the weight of the module, it's the electrical parameters. So you can have higher current, lower current. So yeah, this is really exciting time. There are a lot of challenges, and they are going to be, let's say, properly addressed by top manufacturers as us.
But you see, but what's the direct reaction from installers also? So I think okay. So what are you seeing actually? So and then across the board, of course, as Hongbin also just said, now we're also morphing from the bigger to the smaller module sizes that are also being introduced increasingly with larger wafers or pieces of that, but based on that. So, but they are still somewhat bigger in terms of dimensions. Are installers happy with that, or because of course I think the bigger it is, they still have to carry more, right?
So I will start, okay, if it's okay. So let me say, here also in Europe, let's say I'm also in charge for sales market in Italy. That is a market still very, let's say, focus on rooftop. So let's say in Italy, utility market is not yet boomed as will happen in the near future. So when we talk especially about rooftop, so for the installer, so when you mention installer, that's why I'm talking about residential, commercial. So for sure, it's not easy for the installer. So really they need to be educated, I'm used to say, by not only by us, also by our partners like distributors, because a customer can have in the same power range, different solutions that have also different efficiency, different size. So again, it's not only a matter of comparing the power, they have to focus on the electrical parameters, they have to check the size, the weight of the module, but let's say now as for JA, so we are pretty, let's say, consistent. Last year we were launching M10 for us, so now we're following this. Now we're also launching this technology in the rooftop segment. Also, let's say our series S20 is there since almost 2 years. Our series 10 is there since many years. So let's say, I think that this is also an important topic when install, and this is also what we aim to, are somehow, let's say there is fidelization with the manufacturer, and then it's much easier. And then let's say our partners first, so our distributor in this case, but this is true also for developers, it's much easier for them because they know our solution, they are cooperating with us since long time, and then it's much easier for us, let's say, to, let me repeat, to get educated from us and to explain them the differences. And again, we saw today a great presentation, but let me say, unfortunately, not all the players normally are reached by this kind of event. And then it's up to us really to keep in close contact with them and explain all such details.
Okay. Hongbin, so what's your feedback from your customers so far? So, or if you try to summarize that for the different products.
Sure. So for our product, actually, for the HIMO 5 182 modules and mostly our EPCs, developers, they have studied the economics, right, of the module and how it's compatible. We ensure the compatibility with the downstream component. So they go through some exercise and understand really can help save on the BOS cost, right, resulting in lower LCOE. So that one, I think it is, more and more customers are comfortable with taking these large size modules and install in their project. So that's not being an issue and take a little bit of time, but right now I think more and more customers are comfortable using the large size modules for the utility project.
Okay, so so that means when we look at you already mentioned that, Hongbin, that it's probably going to the cell at some point again. So as one of the trends, but let's stick maybe briefly just to the module once again. So will we see that modules, or have we seen actually the largest or size of modules having come to the market, or will we see even more larger modules coming? Because I think ITRPV has shown that in the next 10 years, they also expect, especially for the utility scale market, to see a larger share of modules beyond 3 meters length. So are we? So what's your take here? And when we look at modules, so aside from size, so what's left to further optimize modules, so without looking at leaving the cell aside? Okay,
just on the module side, I think we don't think larger is always better, right? And we have evaluated the whole module manufacturing process, right? Everything from ingot, wafer, cell, and the module, and also through the module deployment process, right? And transportations, installations, and O&M. And that's how we came, upon this 182 millimeter wafer and then resulting into HIMO 5 modules, right? So we consider this is probably the optimal size for utility applications. And going forward, making it larger will not have, meaningful savings on the BOS and values to our customers. Instead, actually, the reliability risk actually jumps up, right? And if you think about it, you use a 2 millimeter glass on the front, 2 millimeter glass on the back, and people are not, that's probably the glass thickness you can stick with, considering its strength and then the and then the weight and then the cost. So with the same, glass configurations, making the module larger, it just not be sustainable, right? And if you think about, there's no, especially for bifacial module, you have no support in between. When your module expand, the width expand more than 1.3 meters, that deformation under the same load, you will be much higher, right? Using larger size, modules. So we see a very significant, reliability risk with the larger size modules. Making larger size modules is not a practical way to improve the power output, right? So instead, we think, the module size where we are is optimal, and moving forward, we should focus on the efficiency improvement, right? So there are a few, both cell and the module side. On the module side, there are a few approaches that really help us to improve the power output with the same format and with high efficiency, resulting in high efficiency, right? You have in the small gap, what we have done, with the smart soldering is to reduce the gap between the solar cells, right? And there are also, high transmittance, glass, and then reflector ribbons, other approaches that can be adopted together, to help improve the efficiency, the power output of the module without increasing its reliability risk. I think that's the key, right? So larger is not always better.
That's all done, right? Smaller gaps and all these little things here and there. So what's left on the module side to go beyond what we know?
Oh, there's still a lot of quite a few, approaches from different BOM side. Right? As I mentioned, on the glass, you have better transmittance, and you have ribbons. Some of the, there's still development, on the ribbon side, and also on the EVA that can help to achieve, better optical and performance and electrical performance, right? So there's still room on the module side to improve, to bring, higher power and better efficiency.
Okay. Michele?
Yeah, so I fully agree with Hongbin said. So there is not big margin, but for sure there is in terms of material, let's say in terms of fine tuning of process. So let me just, let's say, remember that we in JA, we are used to manufacture solar cells since more than 15 years. So we started 2005, then we launched PERC. Let's say we trusted PERC technology on P-type mono since more than 5 years. Now we are, let's say, going this upgrade with the Persium Plus. So there is some room in the, let's say, optimization of the passivation layer. In terms also of the grid, we're talking in general now about the, let's say, gap between the cells, so gapless technology or reducing this technology, let's say this gap. But yeah, there is some room for sure. Let's say all of us know that we're also close to the limit. Let's say with the PERC technology will be, I think, almost, let's say, very difficult, let me say, to go over 22% module efficiency, but let's say between 21 and 22, there is still some numbers, some room. And then again, so sometimes some material can have an impact on the cost or our cost. So this is also another topic. But in general, so let's say for next year, so this is now clear. There's been shown a lot also of feedback from the market trends. Yeah, PERC P-type will be the mainstream, not only next year, so also let's say in the close future. And we keep focusing in improving the module efficiency. And again, in the presentation from Andrew, this will show how much, let's say, is important. So let me repeat again that bigger is not always better. So then increasing the efficiency, you have a saving in terms of BOS, let's say much more important, just if you increase the power, going to another technology to have apparently a higher power. So these are messages that for sure now, let's say, are known by many players, but there are also around some developments that were done on all the, let's say, modules. So now, let's say this phase, this stage is still ongoing. And yeah, I see, let's say, room for, let's say, for this that will be fully reaching all the players. And then we will, let's say, we will prepare the way for some new real technology breakthrough that will be N-type then.
Okay, so can we talk a little bit about cells? So I think, Jinko has in its presentation today devoted basically the complete presentation on N-type. Hongbin, you recently announced the cell efficiency TOPCon record. Jason said in his presentation today that there will be a 22% efficient module presented at SNEC. He didn't want to say what kind of cell technology that is, so can you maybe also elaborate a little bit on your roadmap for N-type? So and what are you planning? Because that's also important, probably not only for you but for the rest of the manufacturers, because you're also the world's largest wafer manufacturer, at least a part of the group.
Yeah, on the sales side, basically, first, I think LONGi is very, consistent in terms of investing in the R&D, right? So last year we invest about $400 million USD, into R&D, about 5% of our revenue, right? So it is, we have been very consistent. So we have been evaluating and developing all the advanced cell technology as we go along, right? So most of it is still under wrap, and so. Yeah, so in that regard, in terms of different technologies, we have seen, we have been working on TOPCon, like, heterojunction, and also, like IBC-like structures, and even, multi-junctions, right? And with the Prof guy, we have been evaluating those technology, and so far we have seen most of these technology are not there yet for the high volume manufacturing, right? And part of it is just the cost is the pure cost itself. The other part is combination with the capex. Capex normally is going higher, right? And on top of that, some of these technologies like heterojunctions have pretty significant challenge in terms of high volume manufacturing, implementation, right? This is the process controls and uniformities, the yields, I think just much more difficult to control compared to conventional P-type technologies. But we see that, but something like maybe TOPCon is closer to be cost competitive at the LCOE level, right? Under some conditions. So I think that's, probably that you will see something more of these will, emerge in the marketplace. And I still, basically we constantly, evaluating those technology we will introduce into the market when we think this can bring better value to our customers. And some of the technology are closer to be there, right? Some of them are still have very significant way to go. I think, yeah. So I think I'll keep it here, and then you will see some advanced technology emerging, probably going to have more, as mentioned, probably more high efficiency product will emerge and display at the SNEC.
I understand. Michele, from your side.
So let's say about N-type. So for sure, TOPCon is a technology we are working on since, let's say, at R&D level, at pilot line level already since some years. But let me say it's not only TOPCon, so also in terms of heterojunctions, we are investing, let's say, more, starting from this year with an R&D center focused on this technology. And then, so again, so when we talk about, so in general, I'm used to say also to customers, so innovation is not only something new. So, okay, for sure now N-type is not new to the market, it's been already launched since many years, but let's say innovation is the implementation of something new and improved technology. So when we talk with customer, improved is not only in terms of power efficiency, improved is in terms of LCOE. So this has to be, let's say, our target, and yeah, we know there is still some work to do. So I assume for sure we will also give some more details this year, next year, but again, so for N-type, so the message now to the customers that are, let's say, developers, EPC, that are hearing this kind of event, is not that N-type is the technology of tomorrow in the sense of next quarter or next year. So, and then yeah, in these terms, again, so we are fully on track for the technology. We are also investing, because it's clear that, let's say, the second part of this decade will be fully characterized by N-type, but let me say, so there is still some time, and then for the moment, back to our P-type PERC technology. So we, in terms of new products, so we are, let's say, we will focus on this in the short term.
It's just one thing to add. I think the PERC still, has pretty significant runway in terms of efficiency improvement, right? We have demonstrated on the production tools that over 24%. I think that was back in 2019. So right now, current the production is about it's a little over 23%. So there's still some runway for the PERC to further improve, to bring better efficiency and to the marketplace. Michael, you're on mute.
But these 24% PERC sales are halfway top corner. So I think we played already a little bit with passivation. Otherwise, that's not possible. Huh? Or?
24% sounds very high for a P-type. Definitely.
Okay, let's maybe the final question before we stop. I would like to get maybe your view on the current situation. Also, we all the sector suffered from high glass prices, a big shortage on glass. I think a lot of invest has been taken by glass companies, has expanded. I think we're seeing or we've been seeing, I don't know, shortages all along the value chain. I think everyone is doing that. Also the inverter manufacturers with chips. I think there is this shortage now. For us, of course, the silicon shortage is very relevant. Well, can you maybe elaborate on that from your view? Module prices have also gone up a little bit the last few months. Wafer prices too. I think LONGi is also publishing them always. So when can we expect the poly shortage to be over on? And maybe also if you directly continue answering that, because you've been both also dramatically expanding recently your capacities and are, I think LONGi will be over 50 gigawatts module capacity soon. Do we have to fear some kind of overcapacity and then actually a little correction?
I think in terms of the price fluctuations in the last few quarters, right? I think this may be pretty much driven by the imbalance between supply and demand, and some instances here and there. But going forward, as this industry has always been doing, try to better utilize the materials and better efficiency in terms of utilizing the materials, and then the cost with the manufacturing will go down, right? And I think this is, if you look at the poly, I think their capacities will come up in the next few quarters. As this goes, I think eventually the price will go down, right? But we don't have a crystal ball when it won't happen. But this is something I think as the industry, move along and with the capacity expansions and with the better economics, and the overall trend will be there, will continue, right?
Okay. Final word from you, Michele.
Yeah, so important question for sure. So let me say first, so as you said in your question, so it's not only impacting PV, but many sectors. So again, I'm used to talk with the customers, and some of them still think that this price increase will mean, let's say, higher margin for the module manufacturer. But let me say, unfortunately, this is not the case. So it's really a matter of cost that went, let's say, already since some months, so higher and higher. So let me also add the logistic costs, also because of this unbalancing that also Hongbin were mentioning before. And then you mentioned glass. So let's say with glass now, in terms of capacity, let's say it's quicker to get online a new, let's say, capacity. But for polysilicon, all of us know that it's not like that. So if we check, let's say, the price trend is still increasing. So the peak, I hope, is already there. And then there will be a, let me say, a consolidation of the, let's say, the cost of the polysilicon this year. And then for sure the trend will be, I would say, for next year to reduce this incredible so high price. So this week, last days, I have heard about more than 170 RMB per kilogram. And these costs, let's say, were even not easy to be thought. So if just, I would say, few months ago, even 2 months ago. So again, it's this is the situation. It's not because of us. So for sure, this at value chain. Let me say, at this moment, there are different factors that are going in that direction. But for sure, then our target, I mean, if we see the learning curve of the price of the modules over the last years, 10 years, so the trend is clear that we'll go again somehow lower. But for this year, so this, it's difficult that will happen. And it's, let me say, in our interest that all of this unbalance will get, let's say, sorted out, and then we can work in a more so balanced and also easier to get forecasted market.
Okay, I think that has been always our hope, but being in solar for quite a while, it has been a bumpy road, usually going upwards, but with some small bumps along the path. Okay, we're at 5 p.m. European time in California. It's still early, Hongbin. I think your day is starting. For our colleagues in Asia, it's very late. In China, very, very late. So I want to stop almost here. Just thanks again to both of you. Just to the audience, bear with us just a few seconds. So having me wrapping up the first day of our events. So first of all, I would like to have Min, can you continue with the presentation? First of all, I would like to say what comes next. Okay, first of all, I would like to say thank you to our sponsors once again, because without them, this would not have been possible. I wanted to refer also to our current so our current report, which is for download. I think this is still our tracker report, which we recently published. Our new report on very high power solar modules will be for download as of June 3rd. That's when SNEC starts, and that's where it will be officially be launched, published, and distributed. And you can be also sure that what we learned today will be reflected in that report. Please follow us on LinkedIn or check our newsletter. Everyone is expanding, so are we. If you're interested to work as an analyst for our TaiyangNews team, please send your CV to us. Again, thanks to our sponsors, and we are looking, that's our next event, which will take place on June 17th. That will be a SNEC review of solar cell production equipment. But before that, we have still tomorrow, when we have the second day on our event. Please join us. We will have those leading module manufacturers that are active in the 210 field, including Trina, Ryzen. We have also one of the leading TopCon company with us, Jollywood. And we have also tomorrow two inverter companies speaking. That's Solis and Sineng, to look simply also into the BOS environment for large-scale modules. Once again, thanks for staying with us, and we're looking forward to have you also again with us tomorrow. Have a nice day, or have a nice evening, or have a good night. Bye-bye, and see you tomorrow. Ciao.